Hey you guys, I don't know if I'm going to have power by the time live time is, which is 6 p.m. Central. So I thought I would just post a watercolor piece that I have been working on for a client that may or may not want a skyline. Who knows? I'll find out tomorrow. Anyways, so here's my process. So I put some water down and let it soak in a bit. And then I have these little blue flexible cards. They're like aluminum. They're super thin. They would give you a paper cut if you did not respect it. But I'm using it kind of like a palette knife, but I can bend these better so I have a better like range of motion with this. And so I'm just picking up multiple colors on this edge. You could use a palette knife. So I guess maybe I should call it a palette card. I don't know. And I wet the horizon line or whatever, the shoreline on my piece. And then I slid the, whatever we're going to call this thing, my card, across it to make the colors harsh yet bleed out. I'm using colors straight from the tube. They're not cut, watered, anything, so that I have some depth and I can get that really nice bleed out. So I'm making my walls and then kind of holding my little palette card sideways to kind of scrape and swipe down that color and that awesome kind of smear look. And then I just wet the bottom half with just a little bit of blue and a little bit of gray. And now I'm just wetting everything so that it falls down into my piece. The piece is currently vertical, so it's super easy. So now I'm going in with the paintbrush to kind of blend out any areas that I wanted to blend out. And then I decided I'd get crazy and try a palette knife. And it was just too difficult. So in a minute, I'm just going to give up and go back to the card. Bam, there it is. But I really like the addition of the red. So this is kind of Dallas's skyline, but honestly, it could be probably any skyline within reason. And now I'm putting some watered down buildings in the background just with a paintbrush, something just loose so that there's not just emptiness back there, because this is Dallas skyline and there's we got a lot of buildings. And so I think I should have left the water kind of here or a step before here. I'm gonna get crazy with it, and I wish that I hadn't, but I did, so gotta roll with it. Right now I'm just adding darker lines into the piece. Later I'm going to decide that I could have just done that with a Posca pen, and then I just use a Posca pen. But it's good to have mixed media, and if you do like bleed out looking artwork, watercolor, alcohol inks, then it's good to have both a pen line and like your sketchy kind of line. Also, I think I like the sky better, like just before right now, where you could see the blue streaks just faintly. So anyways, let's keep going. The paintbrushes I'm using are, I think, squirrel hair. You can get them just off of Amazon. And the paints are just tube paints. You could probably use gouache. I think probably I should have used white. That was gouache, but we'll get there. So now my palette is flat down, and I am adding these little puddles because I really like the splashy look that you get with watercolors and alcohol inks. It's just a movement. So I'm kind of flicking these little puddles around to give some splatter. Some of these little splatters and puddles look kind of like it's smoke out of one of these buildings, so I should have watered it down more. And also I added some phthalo blue kind of choppy water lines. I think they look super corny currently in this moment, but it was just too late. So now on my palette card, I'm just putting white on it and just hitting the corners, the highlights of the building, so that they have a little extra pop of dimension. It's always good to add a highlight even on the buildings that are kind of in the background. I'm also chopping the white onto the buildings to give just a very rough aspect, an abstract, words, of windows glowing. I also like to leave some white negative space in my watercolor and alcohol ink. I should have left more in the water bit. Also, I should have made my water not so big, but whatever, it's fine. So now I'm highlighting my little water areas by just putting white on my card. And it was I have a lot of water on the page now. And so it was starting to kind of get real soft and ripply, and I was scared I was going to cut the paper with my card. So I hit it with a heat gun just to dry it up a little bit. It's really good to do that when your paper is starting to kind of ripple, even if it is stuck on a pad. So now I'm using a very fine point Posca, and I'm just adding the little rough squiggles that I like to have in my artwork. I don't know what it is about it. It's like sketchy. Like if you were going to quick sketch something and there's just a whole bunch of lines and squiggles everywhere. I love that look. So now, even though I don't sketch out what I'm doing because I just go with it. So just then I was dotting some more windows, but still scraping the dots downward with the paint scraper card that I have, so that it doesn't look too stark and dotty. So I just kind of smeared those lines down. And then I also added some squiggles for like kind of a shoreline, I guess. And now I'm just adding some watercolor into that to make it make sense. Sorry about the earthquake that I just gave you guys. And so now I'm signing my new name because I don't know if you know this, but I'm married. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We do usually resin art, but today it's watercolor. And we'll be back tomorrow with another 6 p.m. live, I hope. Depends on the weather. But let me know what you think about my piece. Do you like it? Where would you have stopped? I look forward to hearing from you. Be kind to one another because you never know what someone's going through. And always remember that we do the test so you don't have to. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. We said bye.